This story is about a place in Louisiana, America, where a dangerous flood occurs. In these circumstances, some prisoners were taken to a safe place. However, the flood also brought a huge danger, wreaking havoc on the people throughout the entire city. What was that danger, and how will someone save their life from it? We will discover this in the story. It starts by showing Louisiana, where the news reports indicated that the weather was bad. A massive flood was imminent, prompting immediate evacuation orders for everyone in the city. In such a situation at night, we see a couple stuck in a dangerous storm. The wind was very strong, a stormy rain was coming. This couple quickly came to a place to escape. Once inside, the men struggled to close the door, but the wind was so strong that it broke the door apart. Then these two started thinking what to do, and as their attention diverted, an alligator attacks the man who was standing near the door, and picks him up in a second and takes him with it and eats it in a snap. After killing the men, the alligator returned, now intent on killing the woman as it moved towards her. Now the woman was very scared to see this big danger in front of her. She was suffocated. She tried to escape, but the next moment the alligator attacked her and finished her and ate her raw. Here we came to know that it was not just one, but there were many more like this, which came here from the sea due to the flood and are roaming all over the city, so that we could understand that this was the danger. The next day we were shown a jail bus, in which the prisoners were being taken, because the jail in which they were kept was now filled with water due to the flood. So they were now being taken to a safe place. There were 2 police officers and 5 prisoners in the bus. Now the rain was so heavy that it seemed impossible for them to reach their destination. So the officer says we have to stop somewhere to spend the night. A police station comes in our way, so we will stop there. The 5 prisoners they had were all murderers, which is why they were sentenced to life imprisonment. They were sitting quietly here, because they were seeing a hope. They thought we would take advantage of the flood and run away from here. Now we were shown a police station that was going to come in their way, where they were going to stay overnight. The sheriff here was a senior police officer with whom 2 deputies were on duty. The sheriff's dad, who was also a sheriff, died. After that he took over his dad's place and became the sheriff here, who was very serious about his work. They were in this area. There was a flood risk here too, but they were unaware of this. The sheriff comes to talk to her deputy because water was coming into the police station, so there was a risk of filling the basement. The door was open there, although he had also sent another deputy to close the basement door. Anyway, now this deputy tells the sheriff that some guests are going to come here in a while. 5 prisoners are being brought in a bus, whose permission I have given. Hearing this, the sheriff becomes worried because there were not many police officers here, so it could have been a little difficult to handle the 5 prisoners and keep them. Now the sheriff sends the other deputy back to the basement to get something. Meanwhile, we can see those big dangerous alligators have entered this police station through the roof. So now when that deputy goes down, he sees that the basement is full of water, where an alligator attacks him from below the water and pulls him in a snap and takes him in the water, eats him, and only his blood is seen in the water. The sheriff and deputy above were unaware of all this. Here we see a group of goons who wanted to get their prisoner released. That was in the same bus that we saw, and that bus is going to the police station. They also had a head here. They had a full plan to save their companion. And when they were waiting for the bus on the way, the bus did not turn, but went straight. This disappointed them because they had hoped to attack the bus and rescue their companion as soon as it turned. They think that they have changed their plan, so everyone is worried. But their head says if they have changed their plan, then we will also make a new plan. We will go after them till the end. By evening the bus reached the police station, took the gun. The sheriff and his deputy came out and took all the prisoners inside, where everyone's records were checked. A woman was the sheriff, so 4 prisoners started misbehaving with her. But she was also a sheriff, not a little girl, so she knew well how to handle such people. She talks to everyone one by one and answers them. Now among these 5 prisoners, 4 were very rude, but one was quiet. His name is Code. He does not say anything here. He stands comfortably, which the sheriff had noticed. Here the sheriff tells them that I tell you all clearly that the situation is very bad because of this flood. So live comfortably and pray that tonight goes well. But yes, if you try to be smart, then I also clearly say that I will kill you. After this all of them are locked in their cells. A group of outsiders had reached here while following this bus. They believed there wouldn't be much security inside, so they planned to go in and release their companion at gunpoint. When the sheriff and deputy returned to their office, the group starts shooting at the station from outside. These two quickly became alert, immediately went to the wrong place and started shooting in response. But in the meantime the goons and their head got inside. They had guns in front of them. Here the head asks how many people are here. Now the sheriff and deputy where they were hiding in one place. From there the sheriff said that we are the only people here, one me and one my deputy companion. She speaks the truth here, no cunning, because she did not want anyone to die. The goon's head says we have come here just to take our companion. We promise that we will not kill anyone if you let us do our job. On that the sheriff agrees because she wanted peace. Those two police officers who had brought these prisoners here, who were now watching outside their cells. They also heard the sound of bullets, so one of them came up with a gun to check. He sees that the sheriff is hiding in one place because the police station has been attacked. The sheriff tells him not to do anything, do not shoot, but he took the gun and came in front of the people. Seeing him, everyone started shooting at him blindly, because of which he fell quite far and died there. Seeing this, the sheriff also quickly took his gun and shot at them. One of his men was shot and he fell there injured. But in a little while the sheriff and the deputy surrendered. They put their weapons and handed themselves over to them. The goon's head asks where the prisoners are. And the sheriff takes them to where the cells were. Here a police officer was standing with a gun which he points at them. Then the sheriff tells him to put the gun down. The goon's head also threatens him that put the gun down, because if you shoot it will not be good. Then here he listens to the sheriff and puts the gun down and stands up with his hand raised. Here the head of the goons had come to release only one man, who was his companion, and he was no one else but Code, the prisoner, who was quiet. His cell was being opened. And the rest of the prisoners tell the goon's head to get us out of here, make us your companion, we will help you. On it, the head clearly says, no, I just have come to free him because he is my companion. Code's cell was opened, and he was taken out where the two met each other. But the rain was very heavy, so for now he could not get out of here, so they decide to wait. His companion, who was injured by the bullet of the sheriff, was sitting on the floor below and was bleeding. Smelling his blood, the alligator came here and attacked him. It swallowed him all at once, and so he died. It was a little late, and now the goon's head was about to leave with Code. But before going, he tells the sheriff that we have to spoil all the cameras here and delete all the recordings that have been recorded from the beginning, so that everything is clear and there is no evidence against us. The sheriff assures him that you do not need to worry. The cameras have already been damaged because of the flood. But because the head did not believe her, he sends his companion with the sheriff to turn off the cameras. When the head's companion was taking the sheriff, the two of them had a conversation. She tells the sheriff that I could have been an officer, but something else was written in my fate. When she was coming down, she saw that the basement was also filled with water, which made the head's companion believe that the cameras must have been damaged. And the recordings did not happen. Before they leave, the sheriff saw a flashlight lying in the water. When she went to pick it up in the water, she found out that it was actually the cut hand of her deputy companion, who had that flashlight in his hand. Seeing this, the sheriff panics and immediately let go of her hand. She was worried, how did this happen? The head's companion was also scared. She was thinking, meanwhile the alligator comes down the stairs. Seeing this, the two of them lost their minds. The head's companion points the gun at it, but due to fear she could not shoot at the right time. The alligator suddenly comes and attacks her. He cuts her, pulls her into the water, and she dies like this. Seeing this, the sheriff gets scared. To save her life, she started going from there, but it was close to her. On top of that, the water level was also increasing. Because of this, the alligator came closer to the sheriff. Then the sheriff pushed it out of the door and closed the door. When the goon's head came to the lower floor to see his injured companion, he was not there. because we know that the alligator also killed him. His cut head was just floating in the water, the rest of the body was missing. On the way he met the sheriff, who was very nervous. She was shivering badly. The head asked her, "Where is my companion who went with you?" On this the sheriff replies that she is no longer alive. The head then asks if the alligator killed her. Hearing this, the sheriff was surprised. She asks, "Yes, but how do you know this?" On it the head points down and says, "Look down, this is the alligator." Seeing it, I realized, and now it is also coming up. Seeing this, the two quickly saved their lives and ran away. They came to the cell area, but then the alligator grabbed the head of the goon's leg from behind. He fell down. Then Code quickly came and held his hand so that the crocodile would not pull him away. But he could not save the head because the crocodile pulls him away in a jiffy. And Code was saddened by his death but quickly closes the door. The prisoner, who was very nervous because of all these circumstances, and he didn't care whether Code would survive or not, he points a gun at the sheriff and decides to release all the prisoners. After this they will kill the sheriff and we will run away from here. He started pressing the button, although Code also refuses him, but he does not listen. And as the button was pressed, all the prisoners were released. Two prisoners started hitting the sheriff. One grabs her neck and then the other punches her. But the sheriff, who was very brave, attacks one with her leg and one with her fists. So she saved herself from both of them. Seeing this, Code got angry. He explains to them that you have gone mad. We should not fight each other, but we should somehow keep ourselves alive. More dangerous things have entered here than us, which want to hunt us. Code had a gun in his hand. He also gets two police officers released whom the prisoners had locked up. Everyone acted wisely and discussed how to protect themselves from the large crocodiles. A prisoner tells that you all have no idea how big a problem we are stuck in. Not only is there danger of crocodiles, but the water level is also increasing. When the water here is full, we will die. One threat was the water and the other was the crocodiles, which had blocked the door from being opened. But because of the fast flow of water they can come here, so we have to get out of here. After that they tie close there one by one and start going up from here. At the end a prisoner was left because he was having a hard time climbing. He cries and asks for help from his companion because the crocodile had come here with the water level. But his companion was so selfish that he didn't help him, and the poor guy fell into the water. Now the crocodile was waiting for this, so it immediately comes there and attacks him, bites him and eats him. Everyone had seen his painful death with their own eyes. A crocodile opened his mouth and came up, but the sheriff fired a bullet at it and sent it back. When they came up, the paths were closed, so they had to pass through the ventilation. But still they passed through there and came up somehow, where the danger was a little less because there was no water. They just had to wait here, but the prisoners were thinking of running away from here, because they knew that when all this would be fine they would be put back in jail. That's why two prisoners make plans with each other. The sheriff talked to Code and said, "I didn't feel like you were like the other prisoners. I don't believe that you must have killed someone." Code says, "I was actually in Afghanistan, but because of fighting with my senior I was fired from my job. After that I started working as a driver, in which some people offered me that we will rob a bank. We need a little help from you, you don't have to do much, just drive a car for us." I agreed to them, but I kept the condition that you will not kill anyone. They also agreed and promised me this. But when we were leaving after robbing, a police officer stopped us. And they forced me, threatened to fire a bullet at the police. I put the car on him. After it we were caught. Hearing this, the sheriff was convinced that Code wasn't really a criminal. In fact, the crime was committed out of necessity and desperation. Two prisoners were kept in a separate room where the police officers were still keeping an eye on them. But one prisoner's eyes were on the gun. He was thinking that somehow he should grab the gun, shoot the two officers and escape. Now a crocodile attacked a prisoner. Due to it he falls down injured. Seeing the crocodile, the sheriff and Code start shooting at it. This distracted both the officers from the prisoner. Taking this as an opportunity, he quickly comes there and picks up the gun. First of all, he shoots and kills both the officers. But when a prisoner was stopping him, he also started fighting with him. The one whom the crocodile injured, it kills him completely and eats him. Now, because of the fear, the roof fell down. Due to it, a rod stabbed the prisoner, and that's where he dies. Sheriff and Code fired a lot of bullets at it, but it was so big and dangerous that not a single bullet could harm it. Now Code came to the prisoner who had a rod stabbed in him. Then Code takes the rod out of his body and keeps it with him. To save Sheriff and Code, a prisoner tries to distract the attention of the crocodile. He comes in front of him, but it was so big and clever that it quickly attacks him and kills the prisoner. After killing him, the crocodile attacks the other two as well and pulls him away with it. And now only two people were left, Sheriff and Code. But surprisingly, the head of the goons comes. Yes, he was still alive, because when the crocodile took him with it, he somehow escaped. And now he came here with a gun to help them. Seeing him, Code is happy that thank God my partner is alive. But the head of the goons tells him that I can only take you with me, not the sheriff, because I only have 2 speedboats, so she can't go. Hearing this, Code also refuses to go because he could not leave Sheriff here to die. About this, both of them had a fight and they start hitting each other. Here both of them were fighting. On the other side, Sheriff and the crocodile. She makes a blast at the same place with which the crocodile died. Along with this building also suffered a lot of damage. Because of the explosion, the fire that was lit, the head of the goons also comes in its embrace. He got burnt and died. After it, Code and Sheriff come out of there safely, take the speedboat, and leave this place. When they reach the other side, they talk for the last time. The sheriff says, "Go run away, it's my responsibility. I'll report that all the prisoners were killed." To this, Code responds with a smile, "Sheriff, don't kill me now because we'll meet again." Saying this, both of them say goodbye to each other and left on their own way. So this was the story of the dangerous alligators, which are so lethal they can swallow a person in an instant. The sheriff and Code, who were good and brave, never did anyone wrong, and in the end they survived.